Welcome to GingerSnacks. Hello, how are you? Oh yeah, that's great. That's great. I'm glad. Or I'm really sorry in case what your response was, I'm really shitty. I'm Heather. And I just wanted to say hi. And I made a video actually, and I realized it sounded really convoluted and whiny and stupid. So I'm going to restructure that and do what I was talking about at a different time. But I decided I'd give you some fun facts of me. I wrote down 20, but if it turns into a long-ass video, I'm going to cut it. So don't quote me on the 20. Fun facts about your host, Heather. Yeah. Okay. I was an extra in 3 different operas, and this was approximately 10 years ago. But I was an extra in The Bar of Seville. I played a townsperson. I met a lovely Bulgarian gentleman that I wanted to marry, but he never talked to me again, even though I gave him my email address. He went back to Bulgaria and forgot all about me. Hope you're well. Not that you'll watch this, but cool. I don't even remember his name. So there's that. The second one that I was in was Aida. I played a slave girl and literally had dark makeup from here to here. Had a bodysuit on that made my skin about 1,000 times darker. Not black. I wasn't like blackface. I was more like Mediterranean looking. I don't know. That was a fun story. Maybe I'll tell you that one sometime. And then the third one I played a can-can dancer, prostitute person in La Boheme. That was fun. I liked that one as well. Also, my second one, number 2, I used to be a can-can dancer. I used to do can-can dancing with a group called the Delano Dollies, and it was a lot of fun. There was a little bit of a drama around me. I think I kind of invited it a little bit, and so I left the group, but a bunch of lovely ladies, and I miss them, so if they ever watch this, I love you. Mwah. Hope you're doing well. My first celebrity crush was Davy Jones from the Monkees, and yes, when I was a little tiny child watching the Monkees, the TV show, I irrationally thought he was an appropriate match for me. That was going to happen. Right after that, my next crush was Joey McIntyre from New Kids on the Block, and irrationally thought that was logical too. At least he was slightly closer in age, and he's still alive. Rest in peace, Davy Jones. Let's see, what's next? Number 4. If on Rock Band, when I played Rock Band back in the olden days, whenever we would do That's What You Get by Paramore, I would get a perfect score. Plus, it is the only song that I know of that I can do at karaoke without the words. I can face the back and do it, or I can just like act it out. Not a big deal. I'm a big fan of that song. Also at karaoke, I've done every Paramore song available except for the one that's playing in the background. It's called The Only Exception. Not my favorite. I don't hate it, but I just was like, fuck it, I'm not doing that one. So I've never done that one. I started writing poetry in 5th grade. That is number 5, ironically, even though I didn't realize 5th grade in number 5. So yeah. I used to be a writer. I was in the young authors thing when I was in elementary school. I think this happened in 3rd grade. I could be wrong. But I met Lois Lowry. She wrote Number of the Stars. She was not that pleasant to meet. So I informed people when they're like, oh, I love her. And she wasn't pleasant. Like, not at all. I do have a signed book from her that I have actually never read because it seemed boring. But I wanted a book to have her signed. And I didn't bring my Number of the Stars. And my dad didn't want to re-buy it. So I bought it. It was like the switch around or the switch. Like I said, never read it, but I still have it. So there's that. I met Billy Idol. This was like in 2005. Interestingly enough, the day after I was sexually assaulted. Fun. That's not part of my fun facts. But I met him. He kissed me on the cheek. Or this one. I don't know. It was almost 10 years ago. Oh my God. Life is so strange. So whichever cheek it was, I literally did, like, he was signing my stuff, and I was like, I have loved you my whole life, and then I was like, oh God, it just fell out. And instead of being insulted by having a 21-year-old go, do not do the fucking math. Don't do it. Anyway, a young lady saying that he could have been really insulted, but instead he was really cool and went like, oh, and gave me a kiss on the cheek and signed my shirt and he signed my ticket, and I still have both of them in a box, like in there somewhere in my other room. I have never worn the shirt again because I want to make sure that the signature stays on it. Number 8. I have kept a journal since about 4th grade, off and on. When I discovered LiveJournal, I magically decided to stop writing in my journal, which is weird because the shit I would write in my journal would not be the shit that I would write in my public journal, but I still stopped writing in it religiously. But I have several times started a journal. One of them I had to throw away because it got ruined. So whatever's in that one's gone forever, which is probably a good thing. Since most of it was me whining about my ex-boyfriend. Nobody needs to read that ever. Okay, I've had my first fandom was The Crow. It was my first one that I geeked out over, and then Buffy the Vampire Slayer a few years later. Those are my first 2 fandoms that I like totally was hardcore into. Number 9, a weird one. Number 9. Sorry, that was number 9. Number 10. I loved college so much. Not because, oh my god, it's so much party and so much fun, but I want to go back and just take classes for fun. And just all the things that I couldn't take classes in because I was taking classes in other things. Like, I'd love to do a criminal psychology class or anything that would let me learn about people that are crazy and murder, because I have this thing for serial killers and murdering. I mean, I'm reading Patricia Cornwell right now, her Scarpedo series. I've been reading it for like about a year now because there's a lot of freaking books. I'm getting towards the end now, though. I'm getting pretty close. But what I like about the books, not necessarily, the books aren't really written well necessarily, but they're interesting because of the criminal minds, psychology thing. Words aren't working out for me. I learned how to knit at about 6 years old. I've been knitting ever since. I'm pretty good. The one falling I have is that I don't trust myself enough to actually make my own patterns. So anytime I make something for somebody, it's usually either I have stolen the pattern from someone else or I have stolen part of the pattern and changed it and made it my own. But I haven't, from start to scratch, made my own except for a vest that I made. And like a sweater vest. I made it for a show at WCU. I have pictures of it. I don't know if I've talked about this one before, but my favorite song is This Twilight Garden by The Cure. It is amazing. It's a B-side for the album Wish. It's absolutely beautiful. I've painted 3 shitty tree paintings in high school dedicated to it. Even though it was This Twilight Garden, I made it about trees. Because logic, you know. I would like to see Tori Amos and The Cure in concert. I know it'll never happen that they'll happen to be in the same concert, but I would like to see both of them before I die, or one of them does, because they're getting up there in age. I have an OkCupid account. I may have talked about this, I may not have. I have spoken to 3 people on it. Yeah, 3. And one of them was a guy I went to college with that used to sexually proposition me until finally I put my foot down and said, you dated my ex that I dated for like 3.5 years. You're friends with my ex that I dated for 3.5 years. And he jumped at me the moment him and I were single. And I was like, dude, I'm not interested. And pretty sure I'm still not. So I kind of talked to him a little bit, but he deleted me on Facebook right after I told him I wasn't going to go over to his house to get jiggy with it. No. He stopped talking to me, but then he found me on OkCupid. But I don't really use it to date. I actually have no idea why I still have it, because I am incredibly afraid of being murdered by one of them. Not that I value my life as high as maybe a normal person would, but I'd prefer not to be like that girl that met somebody on OkCupid and then got murdered. So that's kind of pointless. When I learned how to drive, I almost lost my license. Because in the span of a year, I got 3 tickets and 3 accidents. And although it was a speeding, and running a stop sign, the 3 accidents were sideswiping a car. What was my 3rd one? I think it's that one of the many times I hit a parked car and I left it was I think the only time that I left a note that somebody actually took me up on it. 3. So I got a letter in the mail saying, hey, one more thing and you don't have a license anymore. So that was fun. My insurance was really, really high. Actually, my insurance cost more than my tuition for college that I had to pay. Not more than all of the tuition, because I had to have my tuition paid. But when I came down to paying my bills, I got $5.50 an hour for working at Checkers. And I paid all of my car insurance every 6 months. And I paid for half of my tuition. And my car insurance was more than half of my tuition in college that I paid out of cash, that I worked my ass off. Like, the first 2 years I was in college was freaking ridiculous. I worked 40 hours and I got a 4.0, except for the last semester. So for 3 semesters I had a 4.0, I guess, is what I'm trying to say. I got a B in another class because my teacher was a douchebag. Story for another time. My best friends are my friend Dan, that you have not met, and you probably never will. He's kind of private and socially anxious. You've met Bryce and you've met Andy. Now, Andy is the big ticket item here because I don't think he realizes that he's one of my best friends. And he didn't used to be, and I don't mean that in a negative way. It was just, we get along, but he and I had some friction, and we just didn't quite mesh. And then in the last year or so, like, him and I have, on my end, I feel, have really worked out our differences, and I find him invaluable. Not just because he got me a job, but he's really great. And talking to him, like, he's very positive, and he makes me feel like maybe I could one day be positive too. I don't know. I guess that sounds kind of crazy, but I really enjoy my time with him. And so those are my 3 best friends. And I have other friends, and there's only a handful that I actually, like, really talk to or really include in my life beyond the 3 of them. I guess I have a small group of friends. I spend at least 1 day a week with my mom. I don't know if you guys knew that, but one of my days that I'm off, I always go to my mom's house, and I usually drive her around and take care of stuff she needs and stuff I need to do. Like, we'll go grocery shopping together, we'll go clothes shopping, we'll get crafty things, we'll go to garage sales, estate sales, we'll go run around and do whatever we need or want to do. And I wouldn't trade that time for the world. My sister, I think, is a little bitter because she picks on me about it all the time. But I'd rather see my mom 1 day a week and get made fun of by my sister than not. I love my mom. In 2012, she almost died, and we did this before. I mean, it wasn't like, oh, she almost died, so now we hang out 1 day a week. We always hung out on Tuesdays. From, like, the moment I broke up with that guy I was with for 3.5 years until she got sick. And I didn't realize how much I really enjoyed that time until I didn't have it. And so the moment she wasn't hooked up to her, oh God, what was that thing called? My brain went ILVAD, and I'm like, the ILVAD wire. No, this is not Grey's Anatomy. I can't think of the name of it. I don't know why I can't. But she had a contraption that was attached to her that sucked out her extra liquids and stuff, and she had to have that changed out every, like, I think she had it 2 or 3 times a week that a nurse would come and take care of that and switch everything out and stuff. And I've taken apart that contraption and removed a container full of wonky liquids from my mom several times. But she's a lot better. I mean, she had a pancreatic episode again in October, November, somewhere around there. I was really scared. I was when I was in training for my job that I have now, but she seems to be doing better. Her memory's getting a little better. And she's put her weight back on, so that's good. I don't know. I love my mom. She's amazing. I joke around about liking girls, but I've only truly liked 2 girls in my entire life. I've gotten drunk and made out with a lot of ladies after the guy that I was with for 3.5 years. After him and I broke up, I kind of went crazy. I tend to do that. I've heard it's the red hair. The red hair just means I'm going to be crazy. So we'll blame it on that. But one was in high school and the one was in 2011. And neither of them worked out. So there's that. So I don't say I'm bisexual, I say I'm heteroflexible because sometimes shit happens. And I stole that phrase, the sometimes shit happens thing, from Margaret Cho, one of her stand-up comedies. She said she prefers dick, but sometimes shit happens. That seems to be me. And I'm not very private about that. I don't see a reason to be. I think one of my nieces and nephew knows that I like girls sometimes, but I don't know about the rest. I don't particularly care, but I don't want my sister getting mad at me, so I don't really talk about it too much. Oh, reality TV. Okay, I don't like all reality TV. I don't like the, drama for drama's sake, like the Real Housewives of Orange County or all that stupid shit, but I fucking love shows like Hotel Impossible or Kitchen Nightmares. I love Project Runway. I love Face Off. I like ones that are either making something or helping somebody that needs help. I like those. And I like watching the process of seeing how they go in and come in and just change everything and make it so much better so that these people don't lose their businesses. I guess I like more positive reality TV, I guess. And I know a lot of people don't like reality TV, but I do. That's number 19. And number 20, I can't read it. Oh, the origin of my love of owls. I've been asked this a lot because people think it's a recent thing that I'm just like, oh, I love owls all of a sudden, out of nowhere, because it's hip and cool and everything. But no, I watched the first Harry Potter movie, and I'll be honest, I watched the movie before I read the books, but I loved the idea of having an owl and having them deliver letters, and so I started my love of owls there, and then it just kind of, throughout the years, just keeps getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And the more pictures I see of real owls, the more I think they're the cats of the sky, because their facial expressions are very similar. They seem very moody. My favorite owl is the barn owl, and I'll be honest, I did not realize that it was my favorite owl until like a year and a half ago. Something like that. Just looking at pictures and like reading up on them. They're the most majestic looking owls in my opinion. Their coloring is so beautiful. And if I ever get an owl tattoo, it's going to be of a barn owl. So there's that. That's 20 things. Dun, 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 dun. You didn't know about me. Longer than I meant to be, but I think I powered through pretty good. Alright, I am Heather. You can reach me at Facebook if you go to GingerSnacks. You can either befriend me, and you won't get a lot out of that because I don't really update that Facebook. I'm operating out of my phone, and because of that, it's really hard for me to sign out of my Facebook and sign into another one and then remember to switch back, and I'm lazy, so I don't. You can also like GingerSnacks on Facebook, and I would like it if you did. I update that randomly. You can find me on Twitter at GingerSnacks69. You can also look for me on Google Plus as Heather BoBeather. That's Heather spelled like H-E-A-T-H-E-R. And it's capital B-O, capital B-Ether. H-E-A-T-H-E-R without the H. Put a B there. That's how you find that. And then, let's see, Tumblr, it is joifirefaerie. In the background, it's Somebody Told Me by the Killers. By the way, fun fact about them, I used to think that the lead singer was totally hot. I don't know what he looks like now. I gave up on that band after Sam's Town because everything after that was kind of for me. Anyway, you can like me below. You can leave comments below. You can do all the things below. Just kidding. Don't do any of that. I probably would say no. Anyway, if you're watching this, you're brooding and you miss me. I'm lying. You don't.